Okay, how you doing? Right, I'm just coming to my storage unit here in Boreham Wood. I've got a job here that I think you're gonna like. So I've got to change a main heat exchanger. I need fuel. Got to change a main heat exchanger on a Ferroli. I don't know what Ferroli, but we're gonna collect it now. We'll quickly open up the box and have a peek. And the customer's already given permission to film it so that yeah, I can show it to you guys. Anyway, I'll catch up with you in just a second when I get in. I'm just round the corner now. Okay, so here's the main heat exchanger. I've already had it opened. It's a single pass heat exchanger like a Weissman, not like a Valent. There's parallel coils. They are large. They're quite large coils, and it only has one coil. So on some of these you'll have another pipe coming out the bottom here, okay, and that will be for your domestic hot water. So the boilers don't have a divert valve or a plate. Anyway, let's go to the customer's house, get this fitted. Okay, so here we are in this lady's house. This is the boiler we're going to be replacing the main heat exchanger on. We'll get it all opened up. We'll see what's going on. Hopefully we can find the reason for it. It's been condemned by SSE, I believe. So yeah, let's get to it. So we'll get this cover off. Okay, I can see where it's leaking from. Okay, so here's the boiler. See, it's had a bit of a leak in there. And I'll just show you, this is where it's been leaking from. At the back there, that nut's definitely been leaking. And see a little bit, I don't know, that's run round actually, isn't it? Is there anything up here on the flue? Oh, there you go, look at that. All of that looks like it's run down from above, look. So I'll have to have a look at that and do the flue seals while I'm here. So how are we going to attack this? What we're going to do first, we're going to drain it. We're at a bar of pressure. We're going to get the boiler all drained off. There is a drain point back here. That's a 13mm socket, if I remember rightly. So we'll try that, and once the pressure's low, we're going to isolate it, because there's a magic box and some bits and bobs upstairs. So we won't talk about that. There we go, so that's draining. It's down at 0 now. And take off this snorkel, which is just 2 screws, if I remember rightly. And it pulls out to the left. Now we're going to undo the nut on the top of the gas valve. Unplug the fan. 10mm spanner. In the bucket. By the way I'm doing this, this is we're like the 10th of March, big coronavirus problem in the UK. Well, it's not big in the UK, a couple of hundred people, but that's my favourite burner. There we go, there's the bug eye burner out, as I call it. heat exchanger. That's obviously never been cleaned. It's a 5-year-old boiler. So this has been looked after by British Gas and SSE. And obviously 5 years old, never been apart. So next, this fitting looks weird, but you actually undo it as if it's part of the heat exchanger, which doesn't feel right or seem right, but it is. There we go. Okay. Now you can pull it off. Crack the nut. Gurgling away. Not difficult, is it? Gonna have to undo these screws in a bit. She's in here. That's unplugged, but if you look, there's a cable tie that holds it. See that there? There's a cable tie that holds the harness to the main heat exchanger. Need to get rid of that. So I'm just going to cut that off. Now we've got 2 screws to undo in the back corners here. How do I do that with all these short screwdrivers? I'll show you. So this is how. So, what you need to know there, I had to tilt the heat exchanger forward so the back plate of the heat exchanger will clear this pipe. So the back plate that sat here, I had to tilt the heat exchanger forward so I could lift the back plate over this pipe. Other than that, it's quite straightforward. And as you know, these are always full of water, no matter what you do. So here it is. Nice. I'm going to check that flue out now quickly before we do anything else, because I think maybe the flue's leaking as well. So there you go. The flue is leaking back into the boiler. That's probably what caused a lot of damage to the heat exchanger. It ain't going to take me 2 seconds to sort this out. Now this isn't my job. There we go. Ah, there we go. So, now it's leaking right from the other end. So now this is off. Right down there, there you go. You can see it's about to fall off. The wind's blowing it. That is at the terminal. So this is going to need a new flue kit, this boiler, but I'm only here to replace this main heat exchanger. I'm here from the manufacturer after other people said that the main heat exchanger was leaking. And the main heat exchanger does have a small leak on it, which I will show you on my phone in a minute, but the flue is leaking at the terminal end. So I'll get all this done, and I'll let Ferroli know so they can get in touch with SSE or British Gas. It's SSE now, I think, so that's Corgi. So Corgi can come and sort this out. that's the way that goes on. It's bizarre, okay, but that is how that is. It can be difficult to see that when it's all bolted together with a trap. So let's get this bad boy in there. So it's just the same with this. I'm going to tilt it like this to get it in, to get it behind the pipe on the left. And it's just give it a little wiggle. Nice big O-ring you can reuse. Go. Doesn't matter that it's facing the wrong way right now. Make sure the clip is touching the pipe, both sides, nice and tight. See? Try and pull the pipe out, it doesn't go. Now we can worry about this end. See how it doesn't line up? See that? So we'll loosen off all the screws on the heat exchanger now, just loosen them, not undo them, and that'll allow us to pull it down to get it in there. There we go. See how we just pulled that down slightly? So now both of these nuts are on loose. So push it back up and tighten it up. Someone mentioned these before. I've had these for years. These are homemade. That's a 30mm. You need 30, 32 and 24. So this 30 and 24 are actually the same spanner, and you can see where I've chopped them up. And I've used a bit of electrical cable and tape to make a handle. So the spanners are actually cut on a diagonal, so the metal of the spanner runs all the way to the tip, and then it's just made wider with a bit of tape and electrical cable. Anyway, where were we? Tight. You know the score here with me, just grease it. How easy that was. This cross threads quite easily, so take your time with this one. Just so you know, wherever you see an NTC that has 4 wires to it, okay, this is a new sort of thing that we're doing now on boilers. That's called a self-testing NTC, but what it actually is, it's just 2 NTCs, okay? And the boiler makes sure that they're basically reading roughly the same. Providing they're reading roughly the same, it knows they're good, because 2 NTCs failing at once would be massively unusual. Obviously they use that on the flow. On the return, it's just got a standard 2-wire NTC. So there's nothing fancy about this. They like to say it's a self-testing NTC, but it's just 2 NTCs. Okay, so on Ferroli you don't need to change the graphite seal. unless it's damaged, and this one isn't, so I'm going to clean these and get it all back together. Need to get fibre wash from the van for the gas. Get some water on it, and while that's sitting there under test, I'll turn the gas on. I'll do a quick local tightness test here, and then I'll get the boiler running. Obviously I'll check that joint and that joint, and then we'll deal with the flue situation. You can watch while I go and top the pressure up. I mean, that's where I'd put a gauge, right? Just makes perfect sense. So I'm just going to put 1 bar on it, and you'll know what's going on downstairs. Looking good. If you get it wet, this collar doesn't work anymore. Oh, and it becomes brute force to get it to stay. So don't get your wearer tools wet.
The drip is still continue?
Yeah, the drip will still continue, I'm afraid, yeah.
Oh. So why is it intermittent then? Why does it only happen in the morning if it does?
Because it happens when you first put your heating on and it's condensing more. That's why.
Yeah, but it hasn't done it for the last 3 days.
Okay. Well, the flue's leaking, 100%. Not guesswork, not like 100% the flue's leaking. Lots of manufacturing. I was on a Worcester yesterday with a leaking flue.
How weird. So none of them were right in saying what was wrong with it.
Well, the heat exchanger does have some small leaks on it, on the seal, so the heat exchanger needed doing anyway, but it's not the main cause of your problem.
Well, that was the bloke from Corgi.
Well, it is what it is. They just missed it. They had to get up on a ladder and have a look.
Oh, he was on a ladder.
Was he?
Well, not on a tall ladder like yours, on a small ladder.
Well,
I don't think he was quite as tall as you.
it's easy enough to see, but yeah, it does take a bit of looking. It's not like
Maybe he's never come across one actually before.
Maybe. Okay, so while I'm trying not to shit on other engineers because I don't think it's beneficial to the industry, I'm also doing a local gas tightness test to check if this gas valve's passing while I go turn the power back on and stuff. Right, I'm just going to start setting the combustion up on the boiler. It's going to take a little while.
Right. Bloody hell. The rushing noise.
Yeah, it's just got air in it, so it's nothing to worry about.
Right.
Okay, yes, look, that's me with a book because I can't remember everything and you need a book to know you're setting things up right. Right, I'm just going to go through what that's doing this thing. There you go, quite clearly that flue's been leaking. And it hasn't run down the back, it's run down this side. and this side, but the seal here on the back of the heat exchanger has begun to fail. This is why I've changed it, okay? See here it's split. And also that all that damage there to that fitting isn't really coming from above. That is the heat exchanger leaking onto that fitting. So you see that? The watermark runs straight down there, missing that completely. That is the heat exchanger failed and leaking onto that fitting. Come back to you once it's purged. This gas valve works the opposite to most. So I went the wrong way to begin with there. I need to get this up to 8.7 minimum. 8.7 to 9.2. So we're within range now. I'll give it a little bit more and then we're going to do the minimum. Now we're taking it down to do minimum. Done maximum. There we go, minimum. (8.2 to 8.7). It's high. No. We're within range. FFD check. Boiler's locked out. Check it with the case on. Now finally, do it with the case on. It's 100%. See what she does. There you go, so that's how we proved the integrity of everything we've done. So now let's check the air duct. Okay, so at 100%, at 20.9 in the air duct. So in terms of integrity for combustion, it's all good. But we know we've got a leaking seal allowing condense back into the boiler. Right, okay, so the boiler passed all the safety checks. Combustion was good, needed a little tweak. Gas rate was fine, I've done that. FFD check was all okay. So now we've just got this issue with the flue. I'm going to go and have a look at that from outside, but I'm pretty sure when I make the phone call that's not actually going to be my responsibility to do, at which point I'm just going to have to at-risk the boiler, turn it off and leave. This is why it lived in a bucket until it came outside. Yeah. Look how much water was in there.